Do we have to do this? Like, you wouldn't happen to know any friend that could use a coaching session more than you, right?
Hello.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I couldn't hear the first part because it
Oh.
was connecting.
Oh, okay. Well, I was complaining and belly aching how I really didn't want to spend an hour with you, so you missed some really incredible dialect. So sorry. I could do it again if you want. I could be
Oh, so
like, but basically, here's what I was saying. Let me paraphrase. I was like, do I really have to spend an hour with this jackass? Like, is there anybody that you know that maybe wants a coaching session? You can maybe gift it. It's not too late. Maybe you want to try a new game, a new coach. Like, I like listen here. The opportunities are endless. Thoughts?
true. That's true. So I've
Thoughts?
gotten some suggestions from Stefano, Ice T, in that.
No, wait a second. Those guys are, obviously those guys are not to my caliber. Obviously, I think that goes without saying, right? So, I basically here's the thing: is I'm allowed to turn you down, but you're not allowed to turn me down. That's just part of the dynamic we have going here. Just FYI.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, just make sure. Just make sure. How you been, mate? How's practice been?
Hey,
It's been a while.
uh, it's been going good. Been trying to work on some things. Like, I got some suggestions from Sarah Lee,
Mm-hmm.
and then that was more about positioning and that. And then I had trouble with the game on, I think it was Junkertown, so I got some suggestions from Stefano.
Yeah.
Turns out I was still doing the same thing that Sarah Lee pointed out.
What did Sarah Lee point out?
It was just how I was positioning. Like, there was a couple things like I'd be in a bad position. Like, I remember on Ruin Asapi, the one he did, I'd somehow, as Kiriko, ended up right in between both tanks.
Right.
But I
Right.
shouldn't have been there.
And Stefano, was it just more positional stuff?
Yeah, more positional stuff, and then like me just not using Kitsune when I should have. Like, I
Mm.
think there was a Zarya that had gone past the line where Stefano said I should have Kitsune'd, and I waited for the Zarya to do it 3 or 4 times before, yeah, I'd throw the Kitsune, and the Zarya is fully charged. So it was not the best idea.
Right. Right. Um. So what have you? So what was the time difference between the Sara Lee VOD and the Stefano VOD? Do you remember?
Think about 2 months.
Okay. So do you feel like you have progressed since then? Do you feel like your execution has gotten better?
I still I feel like I'm working on it, but then sometimes, like when I look back through the Stefano one with Stefano, I realize I was still doing it.
Right. So do you think that you have plateaued in terms of those things? What is your practice system looking like? Because like basically here's where we're
Yeah.
at. So where are you at rank wise right now with
Uh,
support?
Plat 3, nearly Plat 2.
Nice. So some excellent improvement. And what is the hero breakdown? Because originally, obviously, we did Brigitte. What does that look like over time?
Uh, at the moment, it's more Kiri, Juno, Ana. I haven't
Mm-hmm.
been playing Brig as much because I haven't
Mm-hmm.
been feeling like I want to play Brig at the moment.
Then that's totally fine. Okay. So where did you
Yeah.
start with Kiriko? Do you know?
Started last season, I believe.
Sure.
Started last season when Brig got the nerf. I thought, oh, I'd better expand it a bit.
And rank?
Uh, I reckon I was plat. Oh no, I might have started gold 1 at the
Okay.
start of the reset.
Okay. Okay. Do you feel like you have progressed with your skill set? Because I mean, Plat 3 is a step up.
Yeah, I feel like I have stepped up, but then I feel like my aim and mechanics have gotten worse because I'm focusing so much on my position
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
as
Mm-hmm.
well. Like, I'm not taking the duels as good as I normally do.
Of course. Okay. So I guess my question is how do you feel about your current practice system right now? Do you feel like you're progressing? Do you feel like you're making progress? Do you feel like you're plateaued? Like, how do you feel about things?
I feel like I'm a bit stuck because
Okay.
I'd try something and then it doesn't work, and then I'd end up back in gold, and then I'd climb back up, drop back down. And it just kept seesawing for a while. Like at the moment, it's sort of leveled out,
Okay.
but that's mainly because I'm not doing 30 comp games a day. I'm doing the 10 instead
Okay.
because I feel like maybe that could be the other reason. Like I'm just pushing myself well past when I
Sure.
should be just saying, yeah,
Sure. How long have
it's
you been
time to
doing
give
that
up.
10?
Uh, for about, it'd be nearly 2, 3 weeks.
How have you been enjoying the game?
I'm still enjoying the game.
Okay. Have you had any crash outs? Have you had?
I don't normally have crash outs. I
Right,
think the only one I really, really had
the
was,
equivalent of for you. You get what I'm saying? Like
yeah,
you kind of in your form, you even talk about how mental is in the gutter and all that kind of stuff. So when I say crash out, I mean you and I crash out. You know, we're not like full out tilt raging. You know, but I do get distracted and frustrated, right?
yeah.
Um. So where are you
Well,
at with that?
I suppose I still do get frustrated, but I guess I try to handle it a bit better. Like, because I've been playing Arna more, I've been playing other sports a bit more, I start to notice their problems, and then, of course, that is not a good thing to do mid-match, because then
Mm-hmm.
you start distracting yourself on what you should be doing, and it just never goes well, those games.
Right. Right. Here's what I want to open up to you. So when it comes to how you're practicing, what you're practicing, who you're practicing, even I guess you've had a lot of coaching, right? We talked about obviously I haven't coached a Kiriko myself, but I'm sure you've
Yeah.
seen some of my VODs and you've received coaching from Sarah Lee and Stefano, who both I think are really good at giving feedback with Kiriko. So I'm sure you have a lot of ideas kind of floating around. And to be clear to you, you have made some progress, and also it's kind of a new support for you, right? So this isn't like something you've been grinding for a year, right? So there's a relatively short time frame. So evaluating what you're doing now and where you're at, and you may not know the answer to this, but I want you to try. Are you happy with your habits right now? Do you feel like your habits are pointing you in the right direction? Not enough to get you to Grandmaster, but pointing enough to progress you. We'll start with that.
I've got a feeling my habits aren't,
How so?
because I notice myself sometimes, like somebody will be low and you just hit W key and then you die for it. And
Sure. So
I was
your
like,
in-game habits, okay?
yeah,
So that's one to keep an eye on. So let's write this down. So W key / bloodlust, leaving good positions, good catch. All right. What are some other in-game habits that you feel like need to be improved on before we even look at a replay code? Just self-awareness here.
I'd say the one thing that I reckon T's mentioned in when we're playing quick play is I'm probably the most unsafe support to rely on to help him out. So probably
Explain.
helping my team out a bit more
How so?
instead of just bailing on them.
How so?
So
Because
like
if you look
a
back
couple
to your
times,
first point here, right? Like your first point was
yeah,
really specific, right? Which means it's really
yeah,
good feedback, right? Second one,
yeah,
not so specific. So it's hard to know what to do with
yeah.
that. So translate it for me, if you can.
So because the only thing I can think of is like, say, T will be on Cass on an angle and I'll be in front of him instead of being behind him where I should be.
Why should you
And
be
then
behind
as soon as
Cassidy?
I get, because I can heal Cass and he can't heal me.
Sure.
And
Here's
then as
another
soon
thing to
as
think
I get
about.
low, I'd TP out as
Okay.
well. So
Let me
then
reframe
he's
that.
left.
Let me reframe that.
Yeah.
I'm sorry I'm interrupting. There's like a slight delay because of the latency.
Yeah.
Why are you in front of your Cassidy? I want you to revisit that question. Who is the longer effective range, Cassidy or Kiriko?
Kiriko?
So why are you in front of your Cassidy? You get what I'm saying? So let's go back to your first point here. Do you see it?
Yeah.
W key, bloodlust, leaving good positions. That raises some questions, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I wonder if the second point is really a consequence of the first point, where you get too locked in into hitting the shots. You press W, you not only misposition yourself, but you also lose sightlines to support whoever's with you. You see what I'm saying? So maybe that is causing you in those circumstances to screw up. You see it?
Yeah.
Because if you have to TP out because you're getting shot, you have to TP out, right? Like there just isn't any, I mean, you have to do it. Like you can't just sit there and be like, oh, I'm going to heal my team. No, you'll die, right? So you have to go if you have to go. But maybe you being forced to TP so fast is because of that first habit that you're aware of. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's really good insight from you there, because I think there's a connection. Are there any other in-game habits that come to mind? You've talked to me a little about Kitsune. You've talked to me a little about some of the angles you're choosing. Are there any things that, not that one review, but just general habits with you that kind of stand out in a bad way?
Probably not even using Kitsune because I'm like, oh, we've already used these ults, so maybe I shouldn't use it. And then I realize, yeah, I probably should have.
Okay, taking a note here. Okay. So just not using Kitsune. What's the solution there?
I guess use it in a sense.
Sure.
Like the idea with Stefano was as soon as you had Kitsune, play with your team, and then throw it as soon as the fight starts,
Okay.
and then take an off angle.
No, wait a second. Is that smart to open with Kitsune? Is that a good opener ultimate compared to other support ults? I'm not implying otherwise. I just want you to prove it to me. So you'd say it's a good opener ult. Why?
Yeah, because you want to increase the tempo. You want to put pressure on the enemy team to make them either force ults or kite the ult.
Right. So my question for you when it says to save in Kitsune and not using it, you should have just used it later in the fight. I'm like, why are we even getting to later in the fight before you use Kitsune? You understand? Like,
yeah,
just use it. It's one of the best opener ults in the game. Yes, they can kite it out, but because it has active duration and even lingers when you leave it, yeah, take the space, force the cooldowns. Why do you think you wait with it? Is it a lack of understanding, or is it feeling the want to be the finishing blow rather than the setting everybody else up? Or is it something different?
Maybe it's just the hesitation. Like maybe we get a lucky pick or two, and it's like, we don't really need it for that.
Why do you feel like you're going to get a lucky pick? Is there some sort of, you feel like your angle's so good that you're just going to win the neutral no matter what you do? Like, I'm trying to decide like why you're so confident you're going to win that coin flip. I mean, there may not be a good answer to this. That's okay if there isn't, but I just figured I'd ask.
Yeah. Because I reckon a couple games gotten lucky picks, and then, all right, we don't use it there, and then we somehow still lose the fight because, the team just does the wrong thing or moves forward, and then you just can't keep them up. But then that could be a part of the positioning too.
Sure. It's also awkward too, because if your goal is to use Kitsune with your team, which by the way, I don't think you should always do that. I think you can use it on a solo angle, you could use it on a duo angle, you can use it on an angle to your team, right? Aim it towards your team.
Yep.
I would say with Kitsune, just use it, okay? So we're going to make a rule here. We're going to deal with the root cause, which is maybe hesitation or whatever. Just use it. First thing, first fight.
Yeah.
If you get it mid-fight, you can use it, but I want you to prioritize, and as soon as a fight even starts, even any sort of trades, when should you use it? As long as there's any sort of fighting going on. Deal? Okay.
Yep.
Now, any other habits that you're aware of? Good or bad?
Probably not looking after my team as well as I should be.
But again, you've said that before, right? So be more specific.
Not taking an angle where I can apply pressure and sort of also keep an eye if my team does need a couple of footers or a
Sure.
Suzu to try and
So
at least keep them in the fight.
you're basically saying I need an angle that has more vision of both my teammates and enemy at the same time.
Yeah.
Okay, so as opposed to what are you doing right now? What kind of angles do you find yourself in right now? Do you find yourself in angles?
I do try to find myself on angles, and sometimes it's not the best angle for trying to help my team, like keep them up a bit
Okay.
while I try and
Okay.
hit anything other than tank.
Sure. Okay. Okay. We'll keep an eye on that one. That one might be something we look at and review. What are good habits? What are some things that you've done well? Why are you plat 3 and not silver, bronze, or gold? What do you do better than those guys? You may not know, but you should.
Maybe mechanics.
Okay. What else?
Um,
So when mechanics, you mean just your aim?
yeah.
Okay.
Well, aim, wall climb.
Sure.
Suzu's probably not the best, but
Okay. Yeah. Mechanics, wall climb, etc. Okay. What else?
maybe just knowing who's a bit more punishable.
What do you mean?
Like whether, say, an enemy Ana's too far forward or like a Sojourn's overextending.
How does that sentence look right there? Recognizing
That
switches
looks
like
all
components
right.
from angle. Okay. Okay. What about your angle usage, positioning? You said that they're not always the right angles. Maybe you get too close on your angles, but do you feel that you're pretty consistent or have improved at finding spots as opposed to where
I
you were or the average gold or silver support?
I feel like I have, but then the other problem is the teams usually, like, I found most of my teams seem to want to play on main, and I've never really like I'll try and take the angle, and it's usually not a great angle to, like, say Midtown. You have a pillar in your way to healing your team on the washing machine building.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
When that's more of an ideal angle for me, but then not so much to help the team try and push forward.
So, struggling with vision on team with angles, team on main, not taking space with you. Do you feel that
Yeah,
it's worth taking a solo angle if there is no other option?
I'd ra- I do feel like it's worth taking the solo angle, but then the problem is I can't stay on that angle for too long because you get
Also,
easily forced out.
so our solution is if there's an angle that works for Kiriko that allows you to support your team at the same time, we choose that one, right?
Yeah,
If not, we take the solo angle and we DPS and we TP out, right?
yeah,
Seem like a reasonable system.
yeah. It seems like a reasonable system.
Now, when you're on that angle, one thing to keep in mind, look at that first point. What's the first point? When on angle, how do you behave?
A W key.
So how should you behave?
I should be sitting on that angle to try and prolong how long I can stay there.
Right. And then when you have Kitsune, use it as soon as possible. First ult to be used, right?
Yeah,
Sound like a reasonable system?
seems like a reasonable system.
Do you have confidence in that system, or are there any hesitations from your experience? Because you played a lot of Kiriko.
I have confidence in it, but it's whether I get a good team that can work with that.
So here's the thing about a system, okay?
Yeah,
If you're checking all those boxes that we're asking there, it doesn't matter. A good system is not reliant off of people to cooperate and work with the system. That's the excuse of every platinum play ever, right? A good system will work no matter what you do. It doesn't matter what type of player you are, what hero you are, what map, what enemy composition, doesn't matter. The system will always work. Always work. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Now,
that makes sense.
You need to have faith in that, though, right? And ultimately, that's where I have a lot of faith because I've seen it done, and I've done it myself hundreds of times with Kiriko. But you haven't. You haven't. You've seen my videos. You know that system should work, but it's a lot different actually doing it and seeing the results. And the tough thing about Overwatch is you don't always get immediate positive reinforcement. And also, let's be honest, when you try to do the system, you're going to make mistakes that may get you punished, and it's hard to not feel like the system doesn't work, right?
Yeah.
But ultimately, you're going to have to trust the process and, crucially, not trust it blindly, but be willing to experiment within that, all right? So I'm giving you the system, and then I want you to interpret it as you'd like, all right?
All right.
So let's look at a replay code here. Sound good?
Yep, that sounds good. Give you this one because it was a Midtown map.
Mm-hmm.
So it did come up as a draw because the server disconnected in the last 10 minutes.
That's all right. So why this
game.
code? Why this code particularly?
Because we ended up getting stuck at second point underneath the bridge, and it just felt like whether I started doing silly stuff or just couldn't seem to push through it.
All right. We'll take a look. Any questions about Kiriko before we get started?
Not that I can think of off the top of my head.
Okay. So all we're going to do is we're going to plug your system. Take angle, preferably one where you can see your team. But if not, solo angle's okay. Don't W key. That's all. Damage versus healing balance, that will take care of itself. Okay. What do you think?
It's an unexpected angle from them, but it's probably not the best because their whole team could see me now.
No, wait a second though. That's not relevant.
Yeah.
It's not that that's totally useless. It's just not the most important thing. What was the most important thing when we said with what type of angle? With what type of angle do we want? Preferably.
A good angle.
To do what?
That I can do damage and heal my team.
Can you do that from this angle?
No, I can't do neither.
Is there an angle? Well, you can damage, right? I mean, you can damage, right? So it's not a terrible angle, but are you sure is this the only angle that you're able to take? Is there another option?
There is underneath the train.
Let's find out.
Where the mega is.
No. No, not really an angle, right? Kind of stacked. Here? What do you think?
Yeah.
Okay.
That was where I was thinking because you got the mega behind you.
Mm-hmm. Even this, right? Even this deeper. Okay. Congrats. Nice job.
I can't remember what to do after. Oh,
you got cleared.
Yeah, take it.
You didn't you didn't mean to W key there. The angle was just bad, right? You just slid off and fell to your death, right? So you had to TP, you had to Suzu, right? And so then now you're in the middle of the open instead of. And the problem, as always, with these angles, this is not just you almost died. It's that look at where you are right now, not on an angle anymore because you had to teleport out, and you weren't there for long either. You could have been here for 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 50 million trillion seconds, and now you're out. So your angle is bad.
Yeah.
Your angle is bad. You need an angle that you could hold for longer, for more damage and more healing. It wasn't that it was too aggressive. It just, you couldn't stay there long enough. That's it. Make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. What's the problem?
I'm stacked on my team.
You lost faith. You saw purple Reinhardt and you go, oh no, oh no, oh no. Guess what? You can't heal this guy. What's the only way that you can salvage this? What's the only way that you can still potentially win this fight, or maybe even save your Rhine? What do you got to do?
Start damaging the other Rhine, or
you ready for this one?
Someone else.
Before we even think about the damage, think about where you need to be, right? You started it. Where should you have gone from here?
Just wrapped around more.
Wrap around more. Go into the small room here, right? That would have been fine. Why do I like the small room better than here? What's the difference? What's maybe one more detail we can consider with the type of angle you choose? So why is this better than this?
Because I can close off the angle from the enemy seeing
more cover,
me.
right? More cover, right?
Yeah.
One other crucial thing too, it's distance, right? Distance. Is there any reason for you to be this distance versus Genji versus this distance versus Genji? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Very important distinction. So not saying you need to play a million miles away, but you do want a bit of distance with your angle. And you even started to rotate, but then you lost faith. And now your Rhine's going to die. You see it?
Yeah.
There's maybe nothing you could have done about that, but maybe you could have gotten a trade. Who can you see right now to shoot?
The Ana from this angle. I think that's the Ana.
If even that, now that she's gone, right?
Oh, the
Why
Ashe.
is she gone? Why is she gone, right? What could we have done from this position? You know? What could we have done from this position? You get what I'm saying?
Sat there and poked the Ana.
Right. Force a response. Maybe force the Rhine to go for you and not your Rhine. Ultimately, or even distracted the Ashe that might have saved your Rhine. Because ultimately, he died to not the Reinhardt, but from the Ashe. So, okay. So, we're taking the time for our Rhine to be dead to deepen our angle. What do you think about this angle right now?
Don't think it's bad at the moment.
It's got the distance, right? How long should you be able to stay on this angle, even though your Rhine is dead, if you play it properly?
Not very long,
Why?
because it is a very aggressive angle.
What does that mean?
Because I'm more in the back line, they're going to turn around and focus me more.
So how should you position?
Really have...
So how should you position? Does that mean this angle is bad, or does that mean you need to change detail about the position?
I need to change the detail of that position.
What detail?
Which I keep wrapping around into the room, which
Why?
I think I did.
Why?
Because
Why
if I'm there,
Uh-huh.
because there's cover.
Cover. Okay, cover and distance. You notice that? We're going back to
Yeah.
cover and distance, right? So whenever you get cleared from an angle, usually it's a problem with your cover, W key, remember the first habit, and distance.
Yeah.
And that's one thing we haven't talked as much about, but it's important. Okay, so I like this. I appreciate it, but I like this more. You see, you even started a W key there, but you didn't. Look at you.
There's...
Do you see the W key?
Yeah.
Yeah. But you know what? You started not W keying, and you started on a good angle. So you know what? I'm frustrated, but you should still feel good. This is like getting a C+ or a B-. You get it? It's not an F.
Yeah.
Nice job. Look at the choke. Look at your tank. Look.
The battle ignites me.
This is great. Nice job. Now the only thing again was the W key, and that's maybe something. Maybe I don't even think pressing a little closer in his end is bad. Just try to stay on one of these little things here for cover, right? You can dodge his alt fire, but yeah. Now where do you think you should be right now, and where's the mistake here? So you just use TP, you just use Suzu. Where's the next step here? Be very specific, please.
I'd say go into the room and use cover. Because I am very killable at the moment.
Oh, it's just cover and distance. You break both rules. Watch your red circle. Cover, none. Distance, none. TP forced. And now you lose the angle. You see it? That's all.
Yeah.
What do you think about this?
I like this angle.
Mhm.
Because it
Could you-
does
can you
give me the cover.
Okay. Can you heal your team and do effective damage from this angle? Because remember that was our main point, right?
Can't heal my team, but I can pressure their Ana.
So remember our rule. if we can heal our team and damage the enemy from an angle, we should do so. So let's explore. You ready? We started here. Thoughts? Is it worth the healing to be here?
No, because you're just shooting into Ryan's shield and...
So you're saying this is better than healing my team?
Yeah.
I agree. You're good at this. You're really good at this. You're really good at this whole like analysis thing, right?
Objectives mine.
Thoughts?
And W key.
W key again, right? The angle itself means it's going to be too easy. And the other thing as well, do you remember when you talked about, was it Stefano or Sarah Lee that said you ended up between two tanks, right?
That was Sarah Lee.
Right. This is how it happens, I guarantee you. This habit right here, right? Don't W key. I love the angle. Probably didn't need to TP out, but it's all right. I respect it. I'm gonna be honest with you, mate. You carry this first point. This is really good. You should feel really good about this. This is why you're flat. Okay. What's the rule with Kitsune?
Use it as soon as possible.
Has this fight started?
Oh. Yes.
Is this fight winnable?
It is winnable.
Okay, use it.
Oh, yeah.
Use it. I don't care if it doesn't matter. It's down one, right? Doesn't matter. 4v5, 5v4, 5v5, 4v4. Win one, plus one or minus one. Use it. Use
All right.
That's not perfect. If I was to be perfect with you, I'd say, can we wait like 3 or 4 seconds and maybe catch that? No. That's technically true, but that we don't need to worry about that. Using Kitsune right now would give you a lot of value. It would force nano boost, defensive nano. Your Ana would then nano on top of that nano, but your Reinhardt would be nano the nano. Then the Zenyatta would have trance, and he would drop off the high ground to transcendence the Reinhardt. The Genji would probably panic blade, and then your Ryan would shatter either the enemy Ryan and get the kill anyway, or the Genji would waste blade entirely. All during this mess, your team is probably going to get 1 kill. You guys probably lose this fight, but you get 1 kill after trading 2 ultimates or 3 ultimates for 4. And then because they're down 1, you're going to be able to walk back to this fight and take a faster fight and then actually take high ground because you're going to be 5 before they are. You got me?
Yeah.
All that rap god just to say, use the ult. Okay. It's okay. Use it.
Which I don't think you use.
I don't think you would either. Now, the reason you're not using it is because you're looking for an angle. That's okay. Is this angle good enough for damage and healing? Are you happy with this? With where you were?
Not really for damage. It's more for healing.
Okay. Is a solo better. Damage angle here better than where you were?
It's better, but probably not the best because...
Okay, so what's the best then? Let's keep going. Solo damage here. So you like this here? Why? Yeah. Why do you like this better than this here?
Because, 3 of their teammates can see me? Well, 4 if you include the Genji.
You ready for a really simple rule? Cover and range. What is your cover like from this position versus cover like from this position? It's obvious, right?
Yeah.
Just better. There's more of it. Okay. What about your range? Range here versus range here?
Bit more range from the Genji.
Mm-hmm. Which who you know was there. That's it. It's not a mystery. Cover and range. That's it. You sit here, you pop off. Now, this is also where you could Kitsune from the angle to your Rhine. That would also work. But let me tell you something. If you take an angle like this and then heal your team, you're gonna get shot.
Yeah, because that Ashe is looking at me.
Yeah, you took this angle. You took this angle to do damage, and now you're healing. Now you're gonna be in trouble.
Come on.
It's not. I'm just happy to see it used, to be honest with you. I'm really unhappy that because you chose an angle and then had to teleport out. It's a mess, right? But I don't know about that. That's okay. Maybe we get a trade. Could be. Yeah. You know what? You know, honestly, like, it could have been worse. You actually pressed Q, and it worked. Like, it's hard to measure Kitsune's value, but it was there. It was there. Okay. Main mistake there is I really didn't like the angle that you took compared to your other options. And I don't like how you behaved on the angle. You took a damage angle, then turned around and healed your tank in front of the entire enemy team. compromising your cover, right? But I think the Kitsune was okay. Let's keep going here. How you doing? Any questions so far?
No questions at the moment.
Okay. Thoughts on the angle?
It's alright, but not the best, considering 3 of them can see me.
Remember, that doesn't
At the
matter.
moment,
All that matters is cover. Do you have it?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Sort of.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it's there if you want to use it, right? If you,
Yeah.
so it's okay. It doesn't matter how many people see you. The more people see you, the more people you distract. The only question is, am I going to die because I don't have cover? If you 5 people can see you but you got a good cover, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. It's okay. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. Which I do believe I die here because
Just bad cover use.
Ash shot my foot.
Bad
Yeah.
cover use. Yeah. I look at this here, and without you being here, this Rhine 100% dies, and they don't take any damage. So the problem here is that you shouldn't have died, because the value's there. Look at what your Mei's been able to do. Look at what happened to the Genji. Look what's happened to look how your Rhine's going to live here, in theory. Okay, I mean, that's a big fail from your honest part, but yeah, the potential's still there. You just shouldn't have died. And why did you die? You W keyed a little bit. Bad cover. That's all. The angle was fine. Now, let's not just assume that. So, before we bite hook, line, and sinker on it, do you like this? Do you like this? Do you like this? You clearly were uncomfortable here, so which is why you rotated here in the first place. Do you agree with your decision?
I partially agree with it. I feel like that was the better angle
Well, how so? Be specific. What does a better angle mean?
because I have more cover
I agree.
to use. Like if I've gone beyond the bus.
And you ready for this? Better range, too.
Yeah.
You're a good several meters further away from that Genji as well. It was a good rotation. You made the right rotation. Now, I think maybe in hindsight, this one could have been pretty good here, but honestly, this isn't permanent. This is kind of temporary. I think this is good. Just do it better. Nice Suzu as well. Good stuff. Make sense?
We've got
Yes.
Hey.
Nice Suzu. Holy crap. Good healing and Suzu here. Now, as quickly as you can here, you need to take an angle. Is that what you're doing right now? Seems like it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you happy with this rotation?
Not really.
Focus on the angle, right?
I am,
Focus on
but
the
then-
position.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I'm on fire.
Because I started off good and then
Yeah.
this
good.
was bad.
Yeah, it's another purple situation. It's another situation where you take a healing angle or DPS angle and then heal your team, which I understand, but he's purple. Who should you die to right now?
Ana, Genji, I think that's an Ash there.
Yeah.
I think Zenya.
So you just need to shoot here. And then you lose the angle. The Rhine dies anyway, and you almost die to the Ash. You lost faith. Now, was this fight lost already? Maybe. But nothing you can do from that. Best you could have done there is toss Suzu if you had it, but you didn't have it because you needed it to save the Hanzo, right? Nothing you can do. The only thing that you can do is you can make a martyr out of your Reinhardt. You can use his death for a trade on Ana, or a forced nade, or a dead Ash, or a forced dynamite, or you get what I'm saying? Like, let him die for a reason. Yeah. He dies now for no reason, and there's nothing you could have done. That's the tragedy here. You know what's not a tragedy? The initial TP, the Suzu and your Hanzo, the healing and damage balance, and then taking this particular angle. That was really good. Now, but your lack of cover and you almost getting your head blown off was because look at where you started. Beautiful, right? Right here, perfect. Little bam, 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 you know? And then look what happens.
Yeah.
Just disaster.
And then seeing the critical.
Yeah. You'll probably die anyway. There you go. TP in towards your team, you die. You have to force them to look at you first. Okay. What do you think?
It's an okay angle for now.
Okay.
Be healed. Let the Kitsune guide you.
You're a little too W keyed here, right? I'm scared you're going to get shattered, but good Kitsune.
Cleansed.
Useful, right? Very useful. Could have been even worse
Yeah.
for them. Look at that. Like that is absolutely worth paying an ultimate for, to confirm that high ground, to force them off to be winning the HP trade on the tank trade. Look at the Ryan's HP, right? Useful.
Yeah.
Good job. Now what? Let's find out. And then I'll let you coach yourself again.
Freeze! Don't move! Do something!
What do you think of this angle?
Not the best
How so?
for the range. Because I don't have the range. I don't have sights on the enemy team.
What do you mean you don't have the range? Look what's on your screen.
Well, the Ash.
Do you have the range?
Yes, I do, but
Yes, you do.
I suppose I do have cover, but I'm
Yeah.
too far away from it.
That's the So that's it, right? So this is good, but where would be better? Make the adjustment.
To the right side,
Okay.
to that little window.
Yeah, right here. Or even to the left if you'd had time. Either one. But I think right now feels better. Okay.
Hey, big guy.
We need to
And
stop
I
this
won't
habit.
fall.
You need to stop this, right? You're losing faith. You get panicky and you lose faith in yourself. And you put yourself ironically in really, really bad positions. What should you have done from here? Hold the cover and do what?
And just spam at the Ana and Ash.
You got it. You got it.
Thanks for the touch-up.
Because what's killing your Ryan right now? It's the Ash, right?
Me not doing
It's the
damage.
Ash and the Ana. And that's it, exactly. And then look at where you end up, right? So what I'm seeing is I'm seeing a lot of really good initial angles, at least certainly good enough, but then you lose faith in the angle and just heal people that can't be healed or don't need healing or give it up entirely. Or you go in the opposite extreme, take the angle, and just W key in the middle of the enemy team. The funny thing is that even when you did that, as bad as that was, you've won more fights doing that than you have doing what you're doing right now. You see it? Like, think about how
Yeah.
hard this has been, as opposed to first point where you honestly just carried first point. Like, you really did. Like, you're the reason and you know it, right? We saw it. It was easy to see.
Let's get back to it.
Yeah.
Now you've gotten stuck. You've died. You've not helped your Ryan.
Soothing your wound.
Good, Suzu. I mean, this is fine. You just weren't there yet. Probably just die here. Oh, maybe.
Now go
Nice Suzu. Nice TP. Nice. Okay. Do you have any questions so far?
No, I do not.
Okay.
carried on the wind.
What do you think of your angle?
Okay. Like, the range is there, but the cover's not quite there.
Keep attacking until the
It's okay.
last second.
Was it good enough?
It was probably good enough for there.
Sure. What do you think
Mate.
about this?
I'm here. Dokasuru.
That is a bad idea.
You had the problem here is that you have the perk. Look,
Yeah, and I
Dokasuru.
didn't think about it, and
that's okay. That's okay. You should think about it though. This is something that you should practice with, where you could do things like this and then, I mean, you know, right? Go right back. So this is where I'm gonna be perfectly honest with you, mate. You have gone from being 75% of the reason why you guys won first point to being 75% of the reason why you guys haven't capped second. Played really poorly the second half there. And the toughest part for me is seeing how well you set yourself up and then how poorly you did once you set yourself up. You see that?
Yeah.
But my point being here is that when you do it, you do a great job. You should feel really proud about that. When you lose faith, when you lose confidence, you don't focus on trusting the process, trusting the system that we talked about before we even looked at the review. When you lose faith in it, you lose games. You lose fights and you lose games. And all of it revolves around that W key, that cover, and not TPing in, not losing the space just because you don't know if you're sure. I don't want my teammates to fight. You got to do your job. You got to do your job.
Yeah.
Make sense?
Makes sense.
And you can see it too, right? This is actually a pretty nice game to review because this game is giving you a lot of direct and immediate feedback on your failure, right? Like you've gotten destroyed some fights that you've made poor choices with. Okay. Now this is an awkward one, right? Yeah, I could tell you're confused. You don't know where to go. So you tell me, is there an angle where you can see your team and the enemies at the same time? If not, where's your best DPS angle? I can move the camera around
Probably
here too,
near the mega, again, on the laundry room.
Oh, so here, like here?
Yeah.
DPS angle, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Give me, is there a support angle? Both.
Probably behind the little bus stop thing or the fire truck.
Yep, you nailed it. It's not a very deep angle. Doesn't have to be. This is fine. This is good. Nice. Good job. I 100% agree. This is going to come with time. There's going to be angles that you just don't know very well because you haven't played the map. But the problem with this angle here is that this is better than heal botting inside of your team, right? Because you're going to get dove and killed. But here, there's only healing angle. With Kiriko, it's just not good enough, right? If this is Marvel Rivals, sure, but that's not Marvel Rivals, right? So you need an angle along with your Ana even. That's fine. Or one of those DPS angles, like full on if you want, like this here would be okay as well. But you need an angle to shoot at least. Preferably both, but at least shoot. And to be clear, I don't hate this. This is not trash. This is just not quite good enough.
Yeah.
Because look, right? You scouted that out. You get bubble. Look at that. You didn't even need to use your Suzu, right? Like, look at that. That's really good. Now he's going to die for that, or you should die for that. That's just your team sucking. Okay, he does die for that. Yeah, so you see, even a bad angle is still better than sitting inside of your team. Good stuff, mate. Just not good enough. Yeah, this is good. Like, look at that. Controlling Tracer, controlling Winston. That's all right. Uh-oh. Okay, good. We're back. I'd rather have you here than inside your team. Sure. It's okay. You lost faith. You're gonna lose the fight now. You see it, right? You lost faith. You lost faith. Where did you need to be right now? Where do you need to be? Where's the only way this fight's winnable?
Probably staying up there.
Stay exactly where you were, right here. You can heal your Rhine. Yeah, go for it. Yeah, toss some Suzu, whatever. But you need to be here. Why?
Because then they have to be forced to look at me.
Yeah, forced to look at you. You're safe. You've got cover. You've got ways to shoot. You can support your angle up here as well. And look at your cover now. You're surrounded. You've lost angles. You've lost space. Your Ashe is unsupported. You're stuck. If you're going to TP, you're going to have to TP into the middle of the team. You see that? You lost space. You got a real problem when you're under pressure a little bit. You lose faith in what you're doing. Maybe faith isn't the right word all the time. Maybe it's just you lose focus, right? You were very focused in starting here. And while I didn't love it, I did like it, right? It was pretty darn good, right? But then you just immediately, as soon as anything happens, you just kind of flop over. I didn't think it was, you were probably thinking, you know, my Ana's dead. I need to heal my Rhine. I agree. I actually agree. But where do you heal your Rhine? From here, right? In the same manner that you heal your Rhine from here, just use cover. You get what I'm saying? It's not about heal versus damage as much. That's not as important as where are you doing anything. Does that make sense?
It makes sense.
All right, let's see here.
The breeze brings relief.
Okay, nice little cleanup here, and let's see the Kitsune. So as soon as they start to walk through that choke, don't be like your Bastion and use it that early, but yeah, as soon as they walk through the choke. I like this. You know what this means? You know what you're doing right now? You're experimenting. You see this?
Yeah.
I don't like it as much, considering what we know, but you know what?
I'm restored.
And you didn't even use your Suzu. Nice. Good stuff. This is good. This is experimentation. You should feel very proud of this.
Do something.
Use it right now. Right now. Has the fight started? Obviously, right?
Yes.
Use it right now.
As
Just
Bob.
Be healed.
use it now.
In there, Bob.
Has to be now. Has to be now. No. Do you think your Ryan, Bastion, Ana, and yourself could have used Kitsune anytime in the past 6 seconds? I mean, obviously, right? Use it. Just use it. Go.
Yeah.
Use it and then retake your angle, wherever that may be. Too late. You might be in serious trouble here. It's too late. And we never really took back our angle that. You notice that? It just felt like we never really got back our space. Oh dear. Gorilla's loose. Good healing. Good damage. Good. Oh, almost. It was just a matter of inches. That's okay. A little bit of W key there. Be careful. This double key is earned. Like when he's that low, sure. Good angle here. Listen carefully for the Genji. Only thing I would have said in that fight, that extended fight, is whenever you get a chance for just a little bit of downtime, try to retake a flank or an angle if you can. Oh, nice. DPS angle again. Nice. Okay.
And that's where it disconnected.
The entire lobby?
Yeah.
That's tragic, my friend. Because... Wait, 15 seconds? Oh, no. You
Yes.
guys... Oh, my gosh. Okay, so I'm going to tell you, I'm going to be honest with you, mate. This was... There's a lot to feel good about here. There's a lot to feel good about. There weren't always the correct angles, but this is good. This is really good. You completely fumbled the bag on second point attack. You should be ashamed of yourself. But first point attack was really good. Second point defense, or first point defense was also not really good, but decent, right? You did a lot of good things here. You did a lot of good things. Let's take some notes. I want us to go back to your notes here. W key bloodlust leaving good positions. Thoughts? Was it accurate from what we saw?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Fairly accurate.
Not using Kitsune fights already won. Well, was that accurate for fights that we saw?
Well, I wasn't using it when the fights had started.
Right. Right.
Much as I should have been.
Right. I think they weren't all bad. They were mostly even good, but there were one, maybe two. I can't remember that was really bad. Not good. That's enough to be a problem, right? So yes, again, accurate.
Yeah.
Third point, keeping an eye on quality of angles, struggling with vision on team with angles, team on main not taking space with you. Do you feel like your quality of angles suffered sometimes?
When my team started getting critical, and I thought I had to go back and...
Right. So you initially expected it to be more of a, my team doesn't like play around my angles as much. The reality is that the angle was the only thing that maybe could have saved your team. But when your Ryan is antied and being run down and you don't have Suzu, what can you do sitting behind him?
Nothing at all.
Right. So there's a lot of moments where it just felt like you second guessed yourself about what you were doing, but the reality is that being behind your tank wouldn't have changed that situation at all. And so then as soon as you left the angle for no reason, you died. Just didn't change anything. So if we were to add anything, if we were to edit that third point there, because I don't like it anymore, what needs to be changed? What's direct, specific feedback that you think you could see from what we looked at? When your angles suffered, or when you behaved poorly on angles, what did you do? What needs to be done better?
Not go back to my team when they're starting to get low.
Are there exceptions to that rule?
Or not panic.
Sure.
I guess if we're up to maybe one,
Sure.
to stop them getting trades.
This is going to be a weird one to phrase it. I just want you to practice making that decision. Should I go back? Should I heal? Or should I stay in the angle? You know what? There isn't an easy answer to that. As you just already said, there's exceptions, right? So you know what I want you to do?
Yeah.
I want you to practice making that decision. I don't just want you to practice taking the angle. I want you to practice about knowing when you should leave, or even if you should leave. You got me?
Yeah.
Okay. Last thing here, we talked about W key. We're going to edit that one to say prioritize cover on angle. And then the last point here, what was the other thing that you sometimes got wrong with your angles? Not just the cover, but what was the other second thing? Do you remember?
The range.
Uh-huh. And that's the same reason why cover is important, right? Stay longer. Bad cover, bad range, you get cleared instantly. Good cover, good range. Not only do you cut down on your deaths, but you cut up on your damage and your uptime and your ability to not get your Suzu or your TP forced, right?
Yeah.
Was there anything else wrong? Teleports, wrong? Only when you left, second guess yourself. Practice your decision making.
Yeah.
Were your Suzus bad? What do you think?
I wouldn't say they're bad as I have seen them, so I'd say they're somewhat fine there.
I'm going to be real with you, mate. Your Suzus might have been your strongest point. At least in that game. Really good. I've almost never felt like there was a wasted Suzu outside of maybe one inside that on a Winston bubble, but that was more of a mechanical thing. You read the situation. You saved it when you didn't need it. You used it when you did. You used it on yourself when you needed to. You didn't use it on yourself when you didn't need to. You would leave an angle before getting your Suzu force when you had. I think your Suzus were great. Your even mechanics with the Suzu were pretty good. You got a couple of nice wall bounces, hit Ryan from like 30 meters. Suzus were great. Again, it's a small sample size, but I mean, we saw like 15 Suzus and they were all pretty darn good. So yeah, keep up the good work with the Suzus. That's more of a mechanical thing, cooldown management thing, but yeah, it was really good. So Suzu's strength, mechanics, also a strength. Initial taking of angles. So let's take some of those. Suzu's strength, not perfect, but a strength. Mechanics, solid. Initial experimentation, taking angles, strength. Greatly lose focus, confidence, later end matches, or when tanks start to struggle more. Would you agree with those three strengths?
Yeah, I'd agree with those.
Okay. I think if you even look at your defense, right, when you had a little bit of time to set up, I didn't love the top because it didn't have any damage, but it was a nice angle. It gave you scouting on Winston, it gave you scouting on Tracer, it gave you a really good angle to heal your team safely. The only time you left it is when, again, you started to panic, right? You just floated into the open. But then you won the fight anyway. And then when you had a chance to kind of take a deep breath, what did you do? You experimented. You tried a different flank. It was a very DPS flank. Remember the far right side near that mega?
Yeah.
But you know what? It's not bad. Just keep experimenting with that, right? And then, without exception, for the entirety of the review, whenever I asked you what angle could you hold, what angle should you hold on first point and second point, attack and defense, you always chose the correct one. You always chose the correct one. Took you a couple seconds sometimes, but you always chose the correct one. So give yourself that time between fights. If you really struggled with a match and you're not sure how to play or how to position, use the replay viewer, mate. There's no excuse. It doesn't crash anymore. Look at the couple of fights that you need to and coach yourself. I promise you'll come up with a solution. You're very smart at this. You nailed it. I mean, how many angles did we ask you about? Like 12, 13, right? And you nailed every one. So
yeah,
you have the skill sets. Now go practice it. Now, how you practice is crucial. All right? We've had this conversation with Brigitte. You need to go into a game and focus on holding cover and not W keying for the entire game. Every fight, hold corner. Next game, use Kitsune every time you have it immediately. Next game, what's the range of my angles? Which angle should I take that has good range? Next game, I want to take angles. It doesn't really matter what angle I take, but I'm going to practice decision making about when I should stay and when I should leave on that angle. practice that decision-making balance. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And you're going to do that. And you notice here that like one task per game. Now, how you mix it up is your call, but that's how I'd like you to practice it. You could practice one thing per game, one thing per day, but do mix it up a little bit. Sound good?
Yeah. Sounds good.
Do you have any questions?
No, I don't at the moment.
Okay. All I want you to focus on is on your system and your habits, okay? You focus on how you're practicing, how much you're practicing, how much sleep that you're getting, your warm-up, and then when you get in game, more system. What specific thing am I going to practice here? Trust the process. Kiriko doesn't have to be complicated. You just have to follow the process. Take an angle, the best angle that you can, hold the angle with cover, and leave when you have to. That's all.